Hi friends, it's Mrs. Shea. This week we're going to do a fish craft because we're studying under the sea and where do fish live, under the sea or in the pond. And we were reading a book called Rainbow Fish, which is one of my favorite books. Look at this picture, this image of a fish right here. This is a fish we're going to learn how to make today. And see how he has shiny, shiny spots on him? Just like rainbow fish. See how reflective it is? I'm going to show you how we get that effect, okay? All of our fish today will be made using paper plates. And I have small paper plates and large paper plates. So let's start with our first fish. In order to get our fish to look like a fish and not like a plate, we're going to cut his mouth out right here. So we're going to ask Mommy to cut a piece of pie. It looks like a piece of pie, doesn't it? Cut it out. And what's left over when you cut that out? Our piece of pie. And then we're going to glue our piece of pie on the end to make a tail. Look at that. It already looks like a fish. And then as we're doing that, we're going to take little bits of foil paper. This is the regular tin foil that you use in the kitchen to wrap up things when you're done eating them, a sandwich or whatever. And Mommy or Daddy can cut little pieces of it like this, or you can rip them and then glue them on for fish scales. Now we're just not going to use that. We're going to use tissue paper. We're going to use our foil paper, like we said. We can use construction paper. You can use some markers to make markers. And then when it's all dry, we will cut it out and make a fish like that. Look at that. That's an awesome fish, isn't it? Now that's one way we can do a beautiful fish. And then we can poke a hole in it and hang it in the window and it will reflect the light. See how shiny it is? I love that. See his eye, his tail, and his mouth. Our second fish is going to be exactly the same shape. I did the same thing. I took my plate and I cut a little pie shape out for the mouth and I glued it on as a tail. But what can you tell what I used to make the different shapes and the different colors on it to make the patterns? I used forks and dipped them in watercolor paints like this. And then I made these markings all on it. For my tail, I used something different. I used a sponge. If you have a sponge painter at home, you can dip it in your paint and then make it the marks on the tail. Look at how pretty that is. It looks just like watercolors, doesn't it? Now I did another fish. This one, can you see the pattern on this one? And I used dots. We have dot markers here. Now at school we had dot markers that were already round like this. See how we have the dots? But at home I didn't have those. So I used a cork. And I dipped it in my paints, and I made my dots on here. So see how I made all these beautiful dots? But that's not how I made the lines. See how I made those lines? I took a little car, like a matchbook car, and I dipped it in my paint, and I rolled it along so you can see all of the different striations there and the different colors. It's just a nice, fun way to make different shapes and colors on our fish. So now I have 1, 2, 3 little fishies. Remember our song that we sang at school? Down in the meadow in an itty-bitty pool swam 3 little fishies and a mama fishy too. Swim, said the mama fishy, swim if you can. So they swam and they swam all over the dam. Very good. Let's take a look at our mama fish. What did I use to make the patterns on the mama fish? This does not look the same. I used marker to make her big lips, and I used marker to draw on her eye. But I used something else here. Let's see if I can find what I did. I used a fly swatter to make the pattern on her tail. See this? I dipped my fly swatter right in my paints, and then I put it on my paper to make this pretty pattern. What do you think of that? And then I used a potato smasher. I dipped it in paint and made this beautiful pattern here. Can you make beautiful patterns from things that you find at home? Our next fish is a whale. And look at that, that's made from a paper plate too. Let me show you how I did this one. I took my paper plate, see? And I just cut it down here across the bottom. And I glued the tail on. And a whale has a spout of water that pops out. So I did that too. So are you having a whale of a time? Ooh. One more paper plate. We're gonna make a scary shark. Oh my goodness, look at those teeth. You can tell that the shape of the shark is not made from a plate, but I made his mouth from a plate. Let me show you how I did it. I took a small paper plate like this, just one, and I took a pink marker or paint and I painted all inside here. See inside? I use marker, but you can paint the inside right here. So let's quick do that. I'm going to use orange so you can tell. See how Mrs. Shea is marking, marking, marking? I'm coloring the whole inside of the plate. Look at that. I'm doing it. Can you do it too? You did it. Then we're going to take the paper plate and fold it in half just like this. Look at that. And now look, that's a half of a plate. And then Mommy can probably do this part for you. I'm going to cut, 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 cut. You know what I'm cutting? Shark teeth. Oh my goodness, how scary, huh? It looks a little bit like a flower right now, but when I leave it cut like this and I fold my teeth down, it looks like a mouth of a shark, doesn't it? Look at that. Oh, is that so scary? We don't really know any sharks, but we do know the song, Baby Shark Song, don't we? And who loves that song? Ready? Does that look like a shark mouth? Let's see the back. This is the shape of my shark. And then I'll put his mouth right here. Baby shark, doo 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 doo. Baby shark, doo 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 doo. Baby shark, doo 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 doo. Baby shark, wow wow wow. Mama shark, doo 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 doo. Mama shark, doo 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 doo. Mama shark, doo 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 doo. Mama shark. Can you make a shark at home? If you can make a shark or a whale or a fish, do one for Mrs. Shea and take a picture and send it in to me. This is my mama shark, my mama fish. See if you can make a fish at your house and send me a picture. Bye, friends.